I'm not even just talking about how like maybe some shots or maybe they'll do like a really fast transition, which that does happen. But no, it's more that they like will put like random camera filters over certain scenes, and it's like
unnecessary blue.
it's like what are you trying to say?
They're not trying to say anything. It's empty.
What was the worst filter you guys saw then in that show?
I don't think there was a definitive worst. It was just consistently why.
And, and although that said, the one that's the most easy to make fun of is one that like anybody can point out, especially if you're a fan of like stuff like Mystery Science Theater or whatever, right? And this is actually something that's consistent throughout the whole show too. They don't stop it after the first act. There's a lot of day for night shots.
Oh.
A lot.
Very goddamn blatant.
Yeah. Like, okay, so this scene's supposed to be at midnight, but we can only film in the afternoon. Like, so.
There's a thing in screen acting where you have to shoot at the time of day that it's supposed to be in the setting of the scene. If you're doing those kind of filters, that's not really the best form of approach.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Moonlight's not supposed to be this blue.
Although that said, the camera work and editing does improve as it goes, but like a small part of me wishes that was prevalent through the whole show as like a stylistic choice, because it would have been interesting. You know what I mean? Like, although that said, a really weird but impressive attention to detail was this one episode where the character Hajime, he meets a guy who looks exactly like him but acts nothing like him. Like, it's his polar opposite but his twin, right?
Yeah, his weird clone. They also did a subplot like that in Gaim as like a side movie joke special thing.
Yeah, and let me put it this way: if the actor in real life doesn't have like a twin brother and they green screened him, right? They put some really weird attention to detail into that green screen, if that's the case. Because, like, there's this one scene where they're hanging out in the dude's apartment, and not Hajime is standing in front of a very brightly lit window, and they actually account for, like, the shadows that he casts, even as he, like, moves around. So
it's entirely possible they had a dude in, like, his coat and stuff, and then just had him wear a green mask.
Yeah. But, yeah, like, I was actually, like, really keen on watching that scene. I was like, they put a lot of effort into this, like, 30 seconds of footage. Like, just... But, yeah, and then as for, another thing, too, the second act I dug just because, like, they seemed to be getting an idea. Because, like, the first act, like, I honestly couldn't tell if it was purposely a stylistic choice with the stuff they were doing, or if, like, the writer they hired, they were like, hey, we want you to write this show, but you have, like, a day. And he was like, wait, what? And so, like...
Excuse me?
Yeah. And so the second act seemed to, like, hit a stride of, like, what it wanted to do and where it was going. And not only that, but, like, the second act actually seems to realize what a mystery actually is, because, like, in the first act, characters will be like, oh man, a mysterious new dude showed up, I wonder who he is. Oh, it's this guy. It's like, okay.
It was obviously this guy.
Like, yeah, they'll bring up this stuff and you're thinking, like, oh, this is going to be, like, an over plot. They're going to, like, it's going to create some tension. Nope. Just
also,
instant.
don't forget the 7 times Hachibana have you betrayed us.
Yeah. And, but yeah, and then when the second act hits, they actually do start doing that. They start being like, oh, hey, there's this mysterious undead who has his own agenda. Well, what is he doing? And they actually let stuff linger for you to think about for a few episodes.
Although, after the first fake out, it's like, no, every undead's a piece of shit, really.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that's the main reason I dug the second act, is because they seemed to, like, the writing staff seemed to kind of be like, all right, we know what we're doing now. We know where we want to go. Let's do this. And then the third act happens. And then the third act is like, nope. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, they probably got canned.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it's interesting. And so I guess then, is there anything else about like the overarching plot you want to note? Because otherwise, I'm probably going to transition into characters.
I'll just give them the summation of what happens in the story then.
Okay.
Undead Unsealed, Tachibana's a piece of shit. Mutsuki gets introduced. It's not the spider undead. Mutsuki's just a piece of shit. They continue fighting and sealing undead. Kanzaki does a thing. They seal the last undead. The apocalypse starts. Kanzaki does another thing. Everything's fine as long as they keep their distance. The end.
Yeah. So, yeah. So the character I want to go over first is actually Mutsuki, because
Yeah, Mr. Good in concept, horrendous in execution.
because here's the thing. And this isn't like this is breaking new ground or anything. Basically, he's essentially forced